just been heritage here. It's amazing that we only live about 3 miles from the very first NASCAR track there was. It sits here empty now, which is an absolute shame.
Where we are right now, the Xfinity Garage, that is where Cup teams used to set up shop. Now, they're all prepped and ready for the opening Cup practice of the weekend. We could see green flag stops here tomorrow once again. We know pit road is going to be a big, big deal. So practice is over.
I've been here, you know, since I was born in the racetrack. My dad bought his part of the Speedway in 1952, the same time that I was born. And, you know, my involvement, I was there ever since I was a kid. You know, I can remember when driving race cars down, like the Petties would bring the cars and park at my daddy's home, like on Friday and Saturday nights before the race on Wednesday. And I'd ride down in one of the cars with this little kid, you know. My uncle actually built the Speedway. He was actually the designer of the Speedway. Wilkes County people were a big part of NASCAR development.
When we had the races here, there were thousands and thousands of people that came. Basically what happened, a lot of you super speedways wanted to have dates so they could pull in more attendance to help pay for opening the tracks. And they ended up getting the race dates. That was the demise to North Wilkesboro and Rockingham, and it was a killer to the economy when they closed.
I was at probably every race on the NASCAR circuit from early 70s all the way through the late 80s. I think 89 I walked away from Atlanta. The cars that I worked on mostly were super speedway cars, and those cars set records at Talladega and Daytona. See, my deal was when I went to work with Cup racing, I wanted never to go to the track. What I done was in the shop. And when my son come along, I built every car he's ever driven. And I left asphalt and basically just head up his racing program.
When they make that mistake, don't lift off that throttle. You drive right by them, because I see so many people when a car makes a mistake, they're so scared they're going to wreck, they don't take that opportunity. Because I've raced with so many good drivers, they're probably going to give you 1 to 2 mistakes in a race, and it's all you're ever going to get to pass. And if you don't capitalize at that moment, you'll never get it back by. I like the racing so much because I like to turn that fear into focus. You're just an adrenaline junkie, is all we really are. Be extremely scared, but then turn that into a very calm. I don't get nervous anymore. I'm not scared of wrecking or scared of losing.
33, the Moonshine Bandit.
From day one, I don't want to build a car to get hurt. I'm not going to put him in a car that won't win.
The announcer said we would come like a bandit, like a thief in the night to steal these races. We would come from 4th to 5th, and all of a sudden we'd take the checkered flags. Shame of it is, I'd really love to see it come back to life. I've never got to turn a lap around North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Every time we go to the racetrack, Harry would always come get Roger and carry him around up and down pit road. Everybody thought he belonged to Harry for a long time, but you find Harry, you'd find Roger, unless he was in the race car. That's all he ever wanted to do was race from the time he was born.
Roger Matt, and the 33 car. Somebody got to do that. Go get a man for outside that spot. Roger Matt makes the lead. He's right there. Look out for the second spot. Take out for Roger Matt the lead.
The first race he ever won, he was 14 years old, and talked to a guy that owned the local track. He let me take him to the track every day in practice.
I was so scared though. It was very different. It wasn't quite like those video games I was playing. Some of it was like that, but
he come out there and watched it and just shook his head and asked me several times, you sure he's never drove a car? I said, no, he's never drove a car. It's the first race car he's ever been in.
we work full time, we do this at night. So we sacrifice our family time to do this. So if you create a week's worth of work, we're only going to be where we was last week.
I've worked from daylight to dark, and most of the time we're after dark all my life, 7 days a week. I don't know how to stop. I just go till I get tired and I can't do it no more.
The track was built by the good old boys that ran moonshine. 2 of them were moonshiners and had some things to do with it, that actually built the track and opened the track and started to provide a place for the moonshiners to run and race each other than out in the county racing the revenuers.
Moonshining and racing definitely laps over each other. Being successful is being careful. And you have got to make a good product, something that everybody wants, you know. I have probably not changed the formula, I'd say, in a good 40 years. I'm Buck Nance, Master Distiller at Copper Barrel Distillery. This is the first ever legal steam injection still. When I come up, you know, minimum wage jobs was about all that was in this county. And you had to do something other than your job to feed the family. And I didn't understand it when I was young, why, you know, Dad always tried to fool with a little bit of moonshine. After I got older, I realized it. I just thought that was the way of life. You know, you had to do this to survive, so. Racing and moonshining has always went hand in hand in this area. And about everybody I know in racing at one time was a moonshiner.
Mom's family and basically my dad's family and basically all of Wilkes County at one time back in the late 40s or whatever was involved in some type of moonshine. And actually my dad got caught for conspiracy and he had to go pull 4 months in prison. And I got caught when I was 20 years old for making moonshine and I had to pull 4 months. We both got the same amount of time. This is where I got busted from the distillery twice. And so it was just like I say, it was just a mess in here now. I've got my equipment, kept all the beer and mash, had a big tent deal right over there, kept it all in there, kept it heated, kept temperature as close as I could, the same. It'd make 22 gallons a run. Every hour it'd make 22 gallons. And I think they had actually 15 ATF agents assigned to Wilkes County to stop the moonshine area. To stay ahead of them, you about had to stay awake all the time. Had to have somebody watching, looking, seeing if you seen anything suspicious.
Still, you got back out the electric one.
Yeah.
That's all right if you don't drink too much.
If you don't drink too much, yeah.
That's where you're at, and it's a cat and mouse game. If they caught us, it was going to be a foot race to catch us, but we all knew if they caught us, you're caught going with them. Don't give them a hard time, and we didn't.
There was times when I was growing up, I wondered how Dad afforded a $30,000 motor for this car. These motors would just show up. He kept his nightlife secret from me for some time. I was in my mid-20s before I ever really realized where the money may be coming from to get these cars on the racetrack.
970-some gallons sitting out back, and he didn't even know it was here.
There's just not that much of it going on, I don't think, today. I don't know. I don't associate really with any of it. You know, that era kind of went away for me for a long time. And when I came back from that time, I told everybody that they'd read about me in the newspaper. You know, and they said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm going to be racing." And you know, like when I came out, the first race I ran, I won it. First 3 years in the Dash Series, I'd won over 50% of the races. Oh, that's me. Yeah, right there. I see it there. That's me. And that's Reagan flying in at Daytona. When Richard Petty won his that's when he won his 200th race, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, when he won his 200th race. Yeah, I run that race. That's about the last time I raced.
Everybody that's involved with racing really should thank North Wilkesboro for being those type guys, you know, doing engines and making cars fast and racing in a circle, and just absolutely brilliant people that have just been forgotten about because racing left. And there's a monster push on social media to bring that track back. We'll see if it happens. It's going to take a lot of money to bring it back.
It would mean a lot to me, and it would affect the town, you know, in more ways than one.
And now that's gone. So it's gone somewhere else.
Yeah, we missed the speedway. I look at it every day. Sit there and look out my back window of the house up there. And look up every day, just watch it keep falling down. Something blowing down about every day. And it needs to come back. There's, you know, here's NASCAR wanting to go to Nashville, Tennessee. I understand that's a big city and a big deal, but that still ain't the roots of racing. It still ain't it. We were sitting here about 2 weeks before the North Wilkesboro race. I told my grandson, I said, we just need to build some road cars and rent them things during the race weekend. And it was a living. It was a living. And this thing's kind of dwindles down, you know, after so long it goes, and then things just change, you know, generations change. Yeah, it's been shut down since about 2000. Like I say, I've been here for 68 years. And like I say, dwindling down. There's still hopes for this place. You know, little speedway up there is, you know, everybody's still got hopes. Still got hopes.